Hey, do you know there are 168 hours in a week? That's a lot of time. Within that, let's say you sleep 8 hours a day, that's only 56 hours. That still leaves a big chunk of hours to do a whole bunch of other things. So I want to suggest to you that within that, you can make progress on the things that are important to you in terms of your goals. You can also enjoy your week and enjoy your time. And one of the things I would suggest, actually, as we're starting this, it's just popped in my head, like grab a pen, grab a notebook, make a note of this, is I would suggest do an audit of your last week. Like look back over the last 7 days. What are the emotions you have felt during that time? And within that, pick out all the things where you felt maybe a little bit down, you felt a little bit bored, you felt maybe afraid at times, you felt uncertain, but also the times where you've just felt flat. We didn't really feel anything strongly one way or the other. Just write them all down. And also then write down the times where you felt great, you felt good, you felt inspired, you felt happy, you felt fulfilled, you felt loved, you felt like you were giving love. So write all of it down. Because I think by doing that, like there's that whole phrase of, what's measured can be improved. And I think too often, most of us go through life like it just goes by. And we don't ever take control of it or take stock of it or look at it. And I think by doing a simple thing like a little audit, you'll be able to see what has happened in the last week and decide, is that how you want things to be the following week? Because otherwise, if you just leave things to happen by accident, the weeks kind of merge into each other. They all kind of become one. Nothing really changes. No real progress is made other than you just feel like you get to the end of the week, time out, start again at the beginning of the next week, time out at the end of the week, and hopefully somewhere along the line, you get to enjoy it occasionally. So I want to maximize that. I want to show you or kind of give you 4 simple tools, 4 simple ideas to really take control of your week. Make sure you have an extraordinary week across all aspects of life, not just one. So first thing then, let's get into this. First thing is map your time. I just said 168 hours in a week. 56 of those hours, you're going to be sleeping. Obviously 8 hours a night, that's a comfortable amount of sleep. Good for everybody, good for your health. Good to ensure that you are fully rested and recovered in that respect from a health point of view. But that also leaves a ton of time for you to do things with. So map your time. Time is the one thing, once it's gone, it's gone. You ain't getting it back. You ain't getting back yesterday, getting back last week, getting back last year. So it's really a question of you've got to manage your time, map your time if you want to make your life better. Because otherwise it will just disappear. It will just go by. It will fly by, literally. And the older you get, the more it flies by, the faster the years fly by as well. So map your week. And within that, one of the key things that I do is each week I will look at my goals for the quarter, as well as looking at the bigger picture of what I want over the next 10 years, but specifically at the quarter. And then again, over the last month, I look at what I did last week. And then I start writing down all the things I need to get done or want to do in the coming week. But then more importantly, I then transfer them. So let's say there's a given task, I will mark out a specific time in my week when I'm going to do that task. So it's actually scheduled. So I know how much time roughly it's going to take. If you don't know, best guess. Of course, once you've done it, you'll learn. If you have to do it again, you'll get an idea of how long it really took you. But the key thing is you got to map out that week. Now, a couple of things will come out of this. One, you'll pay more attention to your week. But secondly, you'll realize how much time you actually have, which then ties in with my second point. As you're mapping all these things into your week and mapping out your time, neglect nothing. That's point number 2. So don't just map out the business stuff. It's easy to just map out the business stuff because we get so focused on our work in terms of whether it's a career or whether it's your own business that you're looking to grow and build. And, you're kind of focused on getting more customers, getting more clients, making more money, serving your clients, giving them what they need. That's all great and obviously important. But it's not the only area of your life. So within that week, map out time to go work out so that you continue to build muscle. Because, of course, you can't go to the gym once and expect to be strong and fit for the rest of your life. It's something you got to do repeatedly. It's a process. It's a lifestyle. So mapping time when you're going to do that. Mapping time when you're going to spend time with your partner. So like there are date nights for me and Anne-Marie, my wife, scheduled in. They have to be, otherwise they wouldn't happen because it's too easy to neglect things. It's too easy to let them pass. And you're never going to get to the end of your life and look back and go, oh, I'm so glad I neglected all of these things. Never. You want to have a fulfilled life. You want to have a great life. So put them in. Make time to spend time with your children. Make time to do the things that are hobbies. So make sure it all goes in. So the second key point is neglect nothing. So think of all the things that are important to your life, what areas are most important, whether that's being a father, a mother, whether that's being in shape, whether it's spending time with your partner. So obviously you can connect, reconnect, reignite the passion necessary in the relationship, but you keep it all alive because that's what life's about. It's about enjoying it to the greatest level, in my opinion. Obviously, if you don't want it, then don't watch this. That's fine. You know, the Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius had this idea that we want to express our highest self. You can put that in modern terms and kind of say, well, that's about being able to live your potential, not just have the potential, but turn your potential into your reality. So in order to do that, neglect nothing. Make sure that everything is covered in the key areas, the key important areas of your life. So put those in. You know, I was sat with some guys recently, all in their late 50s, early 60s. And out of a small group of guys, a good third of them had some sort of health issue. And that was a health issue that came about because of neglect, because it's so easy to be in default mode. It's so easy to just let the habits of the past dictate things and just to carry on the way you were carrying on. Actually, I was watching a movie on Sunday with Anne-Marie. I think the movie's called Toast. It's quite nice entertaining Sunday movie. And interestingly enough, there's a couple of scenes in it where there's a guy and his wife's a fantastic cook. So she makes this food, and obviously cooking is her thing. She's great at it. It's tied to her identity. And also that's how she feels that she's keeping her husband, her man, if you like, happy. So she's encouraging him to eat more and more and more. And she's constantly cooking. You know, so she finishes dinner and she makes something else. And she makes these sublime meals. And she wants him to taste them because they're great. But of course, all that's happening is he's putting on more and more weight because he's eating more and more food without changing any of his other habits. You know, so it's kind of like, make sure if you just allow these things to happen, they will happen. It doesn't take any effort to put on weight, not in the sense of actually physically, consciously having a plan and doing something. It's easy to put on weight. It's easy to let your relationship slide and just become, you know, we both live in the same house. Yes, we're married. Yes, we're partners, but it's easy to kind of let the love, the passion, the fun times slip. Does that make sense? So neglect nothing. All right. Point number 3, accept adversity. You are going to have problems. Crap is going to show up in your week. Things are going to happen. Whether it's an unexpected bill that you need to deal with, whether it's something more challenging in life that you have to deal with, but these things are going to happen. There is no getting around it. You know, life will throw things at you constantly without you even trying to look for it or search for it. Things will get thrown at you. So adversity will happen. There is probably a good chance that at some point during the week, you may have an argument with someone. You may fall out with someone. There's a good chance that things won't go the way you expect them to. You know, I've never written a business plan yet that goes according to plans. That makes sense. Like something always changes. Something always doesn't work the way I want it or as fast as I would like it. There's always something that's got to be changed. So accept adversity. Because once you accept it, you don't get annoyed at it. You just recognize that, okay, it's going to happen. So if I know it's going to happen, then really I can approach it and go, okay, I knew something was going to happen. It's happened. How am I going to deal with it? And you can deal with it in a way where you get to choose how you want to feel about it. Now, that doesn't mean I don't ever feel annoyed or angry. Of course I do. I'm still human, but I can very quickly get beyond it and go, okay, that's great. I've been angry. I've done my few seconds of anger. I've let it out. I've pounded the table, whatever it takes. Now let's find a solution. Let's move on. Let's get beyond this. Because the other thing I know as well is when you accept adversity, you also accept the fact that there's always a solution. Always. For a problem to exist, there has to be a solution. Otherwise, it's not a problem. So accept the fact that you are going to face adversity in your week so that you're prepared for it. If you're mentally prepared for it, it's a lot easier to accept. You know, I remember when I lived in London, you know, you travel on the tube a lot in London. And certainly at that time, we're going back 20 years now, there was a number of delays. And there were times where, you know, even today, the tube will stop in the underground itself, not at a station, actually in the tunnel. So, of course, you're sat there in a dark tunnel. Lights are on for the most part. Occasionally, they used to go off. But you're sat there in a tunnel. And the longer you sit there, the more agitated everyone starts to get. But, of course, if somebody says to you straight away, and I've noticed they started doing this on the tube, if the driver comes on and says, there is a signal against us or there is a particular issue, we're going to be sat here for a few minutes, everyone relaxes. Because if you like, they've been pre-warned. They've been told there's a challenge. and therefore when it's going to end, and also therefore because they relax, they can deal with it more effectively. Same with adversity. So if you're kind of pre-warning yourself and saying, there's going to be adversity, stuff's going to happen, things I didn't want are going to show up, that's fine. So now you can accept it, you can deal with it, you can deal with it in an emotional state which serves you and serves the people around you. And my fourth thing that tied in with this to have an extraordinary week is get quiet. When you're mapping out your week and you're mapping your time, put in specific blocks of time just for you to do nothing. There is something extraordinary in terms of handling adversity and finding solutions. Sitting quietly, whether you call it mindfulness, whether you call it meditation, whatever you want to label you want to put on it, it's just sitting quietly and ideally just letting the thoughts drift away. Have no thoughts. Because in doing that, you kind of empty your mind. And I'll give you an example. Like I do a lot of karate, martial art. And if you are sparring with somebody and you have thoughts, you'll get hit. Always. Because the thoughts get in the way of your instincts. But if you quiet your mind, and in sort of Japanese martial arts, they have this philosophy of mind like still water. I mean, quiet your mind completely. And in that place, you can respond easily. Instinctively, you respond to punches, kicks, attacks, and so on much more easily. So you've got a chance at blocking, getting out the way, countering in some way. So the other side of this is when you do that, when you truly relax, you're also giving your body a time to recover. If you go to the gym and lift weights, then all that's happening when you lift a weight is you're actually breaking the fibers in your muscle. But the growth of the muscle doesn't happen when you're lifting the weights. All the growth happens when you're in your recovery phase. In other words, doing nothing, relaxing. That's when the muscle grows in strength. Does that make sense? So if you spend all your time, particularly in our modern environments where we're surrounded by stimulus and bombardment, other people's demands, things going on for us, we're chasing. There's always deadlines and everything. It's very easy to get caught in that place where you're constantly living in a stress mode, where your body's firing off cortisol all the time to keep you going. But you can't live there. You will burn out. So to have an extraordinary week, make sure you map in time to just sit by yourself so that you can reflect, you can review, you can recharge, you can relax. Do nothing. The fastest way to make progress is to make sure you make time to do nothing. You cannot go at something 100% constantly without any breaks, any stop, any recovery. You will ultimately fall over and you will burn out. So make time to recover. So 4 things. Map your week, map your time. Neglect nothing, otherwise it will pass you by and it's gone. Accept adversity. If you accept it, you're ready for it, because you're going to meet people you don't like. You're going to have things happen you don't like. Accept it. Pre-warn, it arrives. You go, see, I was right. I knew it was going to show up. That's all cool. Now we can find a solution. Now we can deal with it in an effective manner. And fourthly, get quiet. Make time for yourself to sit still and do nothing. Do those 4 things and then start looking at how your week's going. Because if you've mapped out everything you want to accomplish in the week, you might not do it all, but you do a lot more of it than if you just ignore it. If you go through the week and you found that you've had adversity, but you found because you sat still and you accepted it was going to show up that you found solutions to it, which become repeatable solutions in the future, now you don't have to deal with that thing again. So your week will start to improve. The progress you make in all aspects of your life will improve. You'll be able to realize, most importantly, you will realize just how much time there is in a week and how easy it is to waste and how much more you can get done and accomplish and how much more progress you can make because you recognize that those hours which previously you were wasting are available for you to do with as you want. All right. So remember to subscribe so I can talk to you again in the next video. Leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up, do something, kind of share the love in some way, and I'll talk to you in the next video.